Imam al-Tirmidhi rahimahullah ta'ala collects in his Sunan on the authority of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu that Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Min husni Islam al-mar'i tarkuhu ma la ya'ni." A sign, a token of the goodness of one's Islam, one's adherence to Islam, one's commitment to Islam and fulfillment of the conditions of Islam. A token of this being in good state is that this person keep their attention away from things that are none of their business, things that are of no concern to them. So a person would give his attention or her attention to matters that really concern them, matters of importance, matters of priority. And scholars have commented on this hadith in multiple ways, and some of the scholars said this actually constitutes a third of Islam. This hadith, this beautiful statement, really covers a third of Islam. Some of them said no, it covers actually Islam in its entirety. And it depends on the way you look at the hadith. So let's break it down, see how we can, at this time and age, how we can implement this beautiful prophetic statement and advice. The Prophet ﷺ is saying, he's describing how we can tell if someone's iman, someone's faith, someone's practice of Islam is in an optimal condition, that it's done well, that this person is doing well with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This person knows their priorities right. This person is going about Islam and about life the right way. What is that sign? Is that this person prioritizes their attention. They're economic with where they put their attention. Because we humans, we have limited resources. We have limited time in this life. And if you spend it, it never comes back. And the limited time that you have in this life, you cannot attend to everything. You can't be in more than one place at the same time. And if you put your attention on something, it means you're taking your attention, by default, you're taking your attention away from other things. You have to be selective. You have to prioritize. If you put your attention, let's say, on reading a book, that means at the same time you're not watching TV. You're not talking to other people. When you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to a myriad of other things. We have to recognize the limitation that we have, limitation of time and limitation of attention. You can only attend to one thing at a time. And when you attend to one thing, you are turning away from other things at the same time. And that's what your life is. Your life is a series or a sequence of where you put your attention on. And that's what your life is. That's what defines the quality of your life. So if you are busy with trivial things, you're putting your attention on a trivial thing after another trivial thing and so on and so forth, you're going to live a trivial life. That's what your life will be. Your life is defined by what you put your attention on. You put your attention on lofty, sublime issues, you're going to find that your life lifts. You put your attention on petty things, you live a life of insignificance and waste. That's what constitutes our lives. This is why it's important. The Prophet ﷺ is indicating all of that in this simple statement. He's saying a sign that your Islam is in good shape is that you're putting your attention on what's most important, what's most consequential, what is most beneficial. Because if you're not doing that, you are putting your attention on something that is less optimal, if not harmful. And that's going to define the quality of your life. Then it's going to define your final future, your destiny with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Prophet ﷺ is urging us here to spend our life wisely. And life is not just time passing by, it's how you use your time. And how do you use your time? You can bring it down to one thing: what you put your attention on. What do you engage with? What do you choose? And we choose based on a value system. Because all of us, whether we like it or not, whether we admit that or we don't, we have a value system that is functioning within us. This value system, it basically lists things that we have access to in the world, things in our life, according to a hierarchy of importance and value. So we have things that are valuable, things we appreciate and we attach high value to, and things of less value. Then subconsciously, that's what all of us do. We start to prioritize. We prioritize. We start to put our attention and give ourselves to things that are higher on this list of value. So whatever you engage with, that's an indication of what kind of map you have for life and for the world. So those who are spending their time with insignificant, petty issues that are considered to be a waste of time, you can tell the value system of these people is corrupted. It's corrupted. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran about the consequences of this. Allah says about the people who will end up in the hellfire on the Day of Judgment, that they will say, يَا لَيْتَنِي قَدَّمْتُ لِحَيَاتِي. I wish I have put forth for my real life. This life that is given to you is precious. The attention, the ability to tend to things, to put attention on things, to engage with things is a valuable gift. Your capacity to bring your consciousness and yourself to deal with something is a miracle from Allah. It's a very precious gift. How do you use it? What do you spend it on? Indicates what kind of value system you have. So if you are spending it on things that are insignificant, it shows that you have got your priorities messed up. And what's going to happen on the Day of Judgment is that you would realize, this would just be brought to your face, that you have put your attention on things of lesser value and you have wasted the gifts that you were given. So a sign of someone's good faith and good iman is that they put their attention, or they limit their attention only to the things that matter the most for them. Issues of importance. Now this is one thing, and this is how most of us understand the hadith. But there is another implied lesson in this hadith. What if someone have, according to their value system, the highest thing in their life, the highest thing on their value system is a trivial thing. Someone was brought up in a society, was brought up by parents, or lived in an environment that indoctrinated them in a way that made trivial things of high importance to them. That life is about financial success. That's it. It's about wealth, it's about money, it's about your bank account. Does the hadith apply to this? Because this person, let's say this person is being true to this, and they are putting their attention completely on business and on business opportunities, investments, and they just keep growing their worth day in and day out. Is this person applying the hadith? Because they are limiting their attention only to things that matter the most to them, things of importance to them. No. There's another subtle meaning, implied meaning in the hadith, is that the Prophet ﷺ is saying, set your priorities right. Your value system has to be correct. Otherwise, you would give value to things that have no value. So how do we know that something has true value in this life so that we can spend our attention and our life on things of value, things that are worth it, so that we get a payoff? So that our business becomes successful and profitable. We can only figure this out when we understand the meaning of this life. What is this life about? And every society, every culture, every kind of education, either directly or indirectly, imparts this kind of information. It tells you what's important, what's worth your life, what's worth your blood and sweat, what's worth your investment, your effort, your hard work, your nights, your days. What is worth that? But it is for every human being to take that upon themselves and investigate and make a research and not take suggestions and cultures on face value. Question them, scrutinize them, find out for yourself. Self-reflect. Look into your heart. What does that say? Read history. Read the revelation. Contemplate about past nations, about past people. Take lessons. Reflect on the reality of this life and what it means to you. What is the point? Why are we here? Why were we allotted this time on this earth and given these faculties? Our sight, our hearing, our capacity to attend to things, to think, to rationalize, to be cognizant of things, to be able to deal with the world. Why were we given all of that? Was it just for us to become richer, to become more popular, to become more beautiful, or to dress up nicely, or to eat the best foods, or to live in a beautiful house, or to just travel around and enjoy your time? Why were we given that? Primarily, all of these are part of the package of this life. But what is the main point? What is the transaction about? Allah said, الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. He's the one who created death and life in order to test you who is going to be best in terms of their actions, inner and outer, meaning how do you live life? You were brought in this world to make your way back to Allah. To make your way back to Allah. To go against your base nature, which is more like animals. To override it and live like an angel on earth. Not completely pure, but always choosing what is good over what's evil. What is moral over what's immoral. Make the best choice in every situation to the best of your ability. That's it. Knowing that there is an end to this life and that it leads to the hereafter. It leads to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says, كيف تكفرون بالله وكنتم أمواتا فأحياكم ثم يميتكم ثم يحييكم ثم إليه ترجعون. How come you disbelieve in Allah? How come you live your life indifferent to Allah when He is the one who brought you into existence? You are nothing. You owe your existence to Allah. You came from Him. And He sustains that existence for you. But then He's going to take that existence for you so you become non-existent again. ثُمَّ يُمِيتُكُمْ. He's going to cause you to die. You're going to go back to non-existence again. Why? Because He says so. Not because you like it or not because you dislike it. Regardless of what you think about it or what you wish for. Then He's going to bring you back to existence. ثُمَّ يُحْيِيكُمْ. Then He's going to bring you back to life again. That shows you are fully dependent on Him. When He says be, you are. When He says you're gone, you're gone. And not only that, you're going to come back to Him. Like you can't run away from Allah. You can't run away from Allah. Get as rich as you want, as famous if you want, as famous as you want, as beautiful as you want, as resourceful as you want, as influential as you want. Do whatever you want to do. Eventually, you're going to return to Allah. You began from Him and you're going to go back to Him. And between both, you are under His control and His command. Where are you going? Where are you going? That's what your life is about. So on your value system should reflect this. Set your priorities right. Who's your priority? Allah. So the Prophet ﷺ, when he says, مِنْ حُسْنِ إِسْلَامِ الْمَرْءِ تَرْكُهُ مَا لَا يَعْنِيهِ, that a sign and a token of someone's good iman and good Islam is that this person knows where to put their attention. And they're not willing, they're unwilling to spend their attention on anything that doesn't bring them closer to Allah. They're not willing to put their attention on anything that could compromise even minimally on their capacity to draw nearer to Allah and earn more credit with Him. They're very studious, they're focused, they know what the business of life is. But there's a lot of business on the periphery, on the side. Insignificant business. That comes as part of the package of life. But it's not what life is. But many people take that from the fringes and make their life about it. It's just like someone going on a business trip, let's say to Europe, and instead of attending the business meetings and making deals, they just go from one restaurant to the other, trying different cuisines, missing all of their meetings and their business transactions. It would be absurd to do that. Most of humanity, that's what we're doing. We came here in this life to rescue ourselves, bring ourselves back to Jannah, back to our home. That's what the point is. And Allah gave us everything we need in order to make this a reality. And He said, that's your challenge. And I'm going to provide you with everything else in your life to make your experience rich and to give you resources and utility. Then we take the utility and we forget about the main purpose, and we make our life about all of these things in the fringes. Instead of the world serving us, which is why it was created, we end up serving it and worshipping it. That's what the Prophet ﷺ is saying. Put your priorities right. So what a believer does is that when you talk to them about something that doesn't bring them closer to Allah, when you ask them for 5 minutes and doesn't bring them closer to Allah, they're not interested. Their time is precious. Life is precious. Because if something doesn't bring you to Allah, it takes you away from Allah. By default. There's no standstill in this life. Imam Shafi'i said, in this life there's no standstill. You're either moving forward or going backward. Because the clock is ticking. And 5 times you spend with things that don't bring you closer to Allah, you have missed, some advance, some kind of advancement on your journey just for wasting that 5 minutes. So you're 5 minutes behind now. That's how we should deal with life. It's a serious business. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين وبعد. In another hadith collected by Al-Bukhari and Muslim, also on the authority of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, the Prophet ﷺ gives us another example, a very clear, precise example on how this rule applies or how it could be implemented. Something as simple as this. The Prophet ﷺ says, من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليقل خيرا أو ليصمت. Whoever believes in Allah and the last day, let them say that which is good or remain silent. This is how we apply the first hadith in terms of speech. Most of us speak unconsciously, speak from desire, from impulse. We speak even on autopilot. Our tongue is running on its own without us holding ourselves accountable. And that's a prescription for disaster with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, وَهَلْ يَكُبُّ النَّاسَ فِي النَّارِ عَلَى مَنَاخِرِهِمْ إِلَّا حَصَائِدُ أَلْسِنَتِهِمْ. Is there anything else that sends people, drags people on their faces to the hellfire but the consequences of their own words, tongues, what they say? So the Prophet ﷺ is saying, who truly believes in Allah and the last day, because believing in Allah and the last day is not only an idea, it's a way of life. It sets the priorities that I am here to make it safe back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and earn paradise. That's what my life is about, and I'm going to arrange everything else in my life according to this priority. That's what belief means. So before I speak, I ask myself, and I engage in an inner conversation, and I ask myself, why am I saying this? Is it for Allah or not? And what I'm going to say, is it something that is pleasing to Allah or not? And even if it's pleasing to Allah, is it something that is going to bring about good or not? So if the answer is yes to all of these things, then yes, I should say it, and that means it's going to bring me closer to Allah. I'm taking some steps forward. But if the answer is I don't know, or maybe, or not, then you should desist. That's what the Prophet ﷺ is saying. And if we act just by this, if everyone just keeps to their own business, and their own business is making it to Allah, including worldly matters that are necessary, taking care of your family and your kids, and earning an income, and even socializing and being good with people and having a life. That's part of your journey to Allah, because you need it as a human being. You can't live as a monk. You can't live as a monk. You need life. But life is there just because it's part of the package, not that you're seeking it for its own sake. So if everyone lives like that, they mind their own business. They're not concerned, they're not watching people. Why did this person go there? Go here, talk to this, talk to that. Why are they dressed up this way? Why are they wearing a cap or not wearing a cap? Why have they done their hair this way? Why have they done their beard in this way? Why are they wearing pants? Why are they wearing red or orange or yellow? What is this person doing in their own home? That's a waste of your life. It means you got your priorities wrong, and you're going to regret every minute that you waste engaged in things that don't bring you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you do that, you simplify your life. Be very simple. Will be more meaningful. You will have focus. You won't be distracted, fragmented all over the place. You will have clear focus, a sense of direction. Things will make sense. Things will add up. Then you will have a clear moral compass, because you know what's good and what's bad. You're not torn apart into different directions. And then you will start to have a sense of fulfillment, accomplishment, progress. Because your life is simple, so straightforward. And then eventually, even your presence becomes pleasant, beneficial. Most of the problems of the world, in the world, will disappear just by doing that. Just by doing that. We are creating problems for ourselves and others, just by trying to be super smart and intelligent and trying to fix the world's problems when our lives, are full of problems and issues, and we're unable even to face them. So the Prophet's advice is very powerful, and it's very simple, because the complexity of life comes primarily from our wrong decisions. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us this focus, and to make our lives all about Him, and to give us, or to help us lead meaningful, healthy and rich life.